My name is Raphael Boguslav, and I'm a designer, calligrapher. I live in Newport, Rhode Island. I've been here for 12 years. I got all of my training and all of my professional life was spent in New York. When I was about somewhere between 12 and 14, I'm not sure, I got a book out of the library, an English book of calligraphy, and I started to learn it because it fascinated me. And at that point, my father helped me a little bit. Mostly his help consisted of saying, no, that's not quite right yet. The very first studio that I worked for certainly shaped my notions of quality. The studio was fanatical about craftsmanship. So I came to take it as a matter of course that naturally you would go through hundreds and hundreds of sketches to make absolutely sure that you have, in fact, got the best possible choice for that client. You get to the point, finally, where even if you had an opportunity to turn out an indifferent piece of work, you couldn't stand it. I think the truth is that the New York environment is just so competitive that if you don't have high standards, someone else will. In the long run, you have to convince the client that you have as much at stake as he does. And if the work is going to go out under your name, then it has to be good. Most of my work doesn't take a long time. However, doing it enough times to come up with the one that I want can take a great long time. I put in years of practice to get the flourished decorations to happen at all. You still have to somehow have the whole thing look as if it had been freely written. The public, upon seeing it, has the illusion of something which has been spontaneously executed, whereas actually a terrific amount of effort and premeditation has gone into getting the effect that you want. The complexities of the equation, that is to say, the type of paper, the viscosity of the ink, the type of pen or pen point that you're working with, are so enormously complex and subtle that if you spend your life at it, you'll never have exhausted all of the variations that you can achieve with these tiny few implements. It seems as though the Bank of Boston's charter expired, and they contacted me through my agent, and I thought, well, it's a wonderful opportunity to redo a traditional piece in a somewhat more contemporary way. And I found out to my astonishment that they wanted an exact facsimile of this charter. I took 3 weeks just to practice this particular scribe's handwriting, some nameless clerk in the State House in Boston. The certificate was signed by Hancock and Adams and Dalton. And after a while, I got so familiar with the quirks of the man's handwriting that I almost thought I could decide approximately where he'd gone out for lunch and what he'd had for lunch and when he came back. When I finally came to writing the final, I did do it in the space of a day, but it was some day. It was 8 or 9 hours of straight writing. I'm sure the clerk did it with considerably less effort. There's only one feeling that's worthwhile in work, and that is to be so in the grip of a passion to do it that you forget to eat, and you suddenly realize that you're aching with fatigue and you don't know where the day has gone. That's the only way I think that anybody should really work. You work because you just love to do it. There's always a certain amount of excitement, a certain amount of fear about whether or not one is going to be able to do it. I never say no. Whatever it is that they need, if it involves letters, I can do it.